Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to Manufactio Nuclear Edition. Yes, we are back finally. I don't think you guys got much out of that anyway, but back from vacation, had a good time playing in the snow and doing a bunch of other goofiness. So we're in here playing around in our world today, and there's a good stutter. Let's go on. I spent a little bit of time earlier today, or at least messing around, trying to get a few things working, trying to decide where we want to go with the episode, and I've been fighting with the power system, mainly because once we hit a point where my computer is having a pretty hard time, I guess, at this point, trying to keep this system running, but these water extractors are good up to a point, and the reason why they're good up to a point is the fact that they make 4,000 millibuckets of water a tick, at least supposedly. However, that is not necessarily the case once you start to have a world that becomes a little busy. So I want to touch on this real quick before we go. If we watch it in here, water's fine. Water's fine, good, water, fine, good, water, fine. It's kind of there. The issue is right here, and it's the modular machine problem of when the interface or the thing, technically, like I said, not enough tank storage space for stuff on the outside. It says it's full here. However, when we start getting busy or we have these ones on the outside end here, they're just not turning on when they're supposed to. So I've been sitting here kind of fooling around, like say it's empty and then it smacks it full. I've got some pumps out here because we needed to put some more pumps down because we were running out of power because I couldn't keep these tanks full of water because this machine was not turning on when this interface is empty. So we're looking at it. That 4,000 millibuckets is only, and I mean only, when you can pump the water out of this thing fast enough. However, it's immediately smacks it full and then shuts it off. Now, I think probably what a fix would be, at least for these, is maybe to put a larger that normal fluid output hatch. Maybe that needs to be advanced to something a little bit bigger. But the modular machines, they just seem to take forever to turn on, and that one's mad at me because I'm sucking water out from underneath of it, but it just seems like they seem to take forever to turn on once they're where they need to be. So I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what that one was. Oh, it's a fish. Hi, that's nice. I needed a fish. But anyhow, I've done a little bit of goofing around. I've had to restart this system 2 or 3 times to get it to function, and it's functional. It's just because of the fact we have to create special water for those turbines that this just doesn't really, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more plan, do some more figuring. I do want to use these in order to be able to make everything work. It might mean that I need to put, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 more of these things out here. But I literally just was goofing around upstairs, just cleaning up some of the ores that we have hanging out, and came down here, and the entire system was off. Every single bit of it was off because I couldn't get enough water out of these into this, into that. So part of the system is part of the system, way the system works, is that we're using the wastewater coming out of those turbines to keep these tanks full. So we're using that water first before we start using that water. And if I don't have any water over there to keep that tank full, the water coming out of those won't keep this full. So yeah, we kind of just eventually cycled ourselves out to where I actually had to go hook up those things again to a couple of these and get them to work. It works. It's fine. It's just I have to remember to come down here and make sure I have water before I even think about doing anything every single time we play this pack. So anyhow, upstairs, we're going to try to do a little bit, hopefully, with some of the problem that we're having right now. So we're not terrible. We're 36, but if we continue in that direction of where that goes, we're going to start having some serious problems with the way the base is working. The base is slowed down, mainly because of the fact we've got so much crap everywhere. So I hate to use that word, but it's literally, I thought we were going to do a really good job kind of playing with this to make it work, but there are so many interfaces and so many things. Where is one of those? Can I grab... Where is my tool? Tool. Actually, let's go down here. And I think... Okay, let's see if I can get that tool out now that they're actually happy and everything's running. Give me our tools. Tool. And I think I can do it with this one. Maybe. Yeah, routing table size. 590 different interfaces that this technical network right here sees, and that's just the one in the middle. That's just the one in the middle. If we look at, like, say, here, there's 102 things just on this one side. 102 of these little interfaces attaching to everything on this one deal. I guess we can do the same thing over here. So, that right there, 100. It's kind of one of those things where I knew that logistics pipes was eventually going to become a problem for us because of the fact of how I was planning on building this base out. And while it is done what I figured it was going to do, but the issue again is that distance and just trying to keep things somewhat remotely compact, which is just building them vertically, is causing us the problem. And, well, you know, it's the same old thing like we did in Manufactio number 1. Certain things tend to use a really stupid amount of the CPU when they're on. I don't know why. I profiled this system using the lag goggles, and these were 30,000 milliseconds or microseconds. 30,000. So I shut them off. We're not going to use them for right now. It's okay. They have a lot of backup that they need to clean up. I stuffed a whole bunch of aluminum things in this one. So yeah, we were trying to run a bunch of aluminum so I could catch up on aluminum. And yeah, we're still trying to run, well, 3 of those things worth of aluminum. Okay, so we're back over here. I had a problem with the recording, so we're going to start over with this anyhow. We left off talking about how those things were kind of using up a little bit of the system or using up a little bit of the CPU, and I've gone ahead and shut a few of these machines off to the point that all of our science currently right here is being utilized. I was working on a project, and I was talking about it, so I figured what we would do is, well, before we get any further with this, we're going to start doing a little bit more unlocking of a little bit more science. And then the recording broke, so we're going to go back over what I just did. So what I just did, unfortunately for you all, was that we're going to go after trying to get after the white science, or what this chapter is going to provide us so that we can get some better mining drones. Both of these two right here, both these two little guys, are going to be white science unlockable. So in order to unlock white science, we had to unlock the nuclear science packs, which we did not have the personal radiation removal and the improved personal radiation removal unlocked. Both of those were just a little bit of blue research. No big deal. This may be something here fairly soon that we're going to need to start fooling with. However, what I have been doing is I've been using these. Golden carrots, golden apples, golden all of those kinds of things. Currently, right now, my person is... Give me my thing real quick. We can just look at this very quickly. I think personally, right now, I have... what is that? 46 of whatever on that one. And if I just do... Put one of those in there, and the next time my character eats, which should be in just a second here, maybe, once we do a little bit more running around. I think we ate already. Well, I don't know. It's being a little goofy. Come on. Eat. Something is going on. Oh, right. I have something else on me, I think, that is currently increasing my ability to do stuff, but whatever. We're not, you know, we're not in peaceful. Anyhow, that's been how I've been kind of managing that problem, by just simply occasionally tossing a golden carrot or a golden apple into my system or into that little thing and eating it, and then it'll remove a reasonable amount of the radiation. So once again, we may have to start looking at that, and actually probably very soon I may have to start looking at this, which the problem is that's going to be nuclear research, which is going to be us making nuclear science packs, which is going to be uranium fuel cells, medium radiation shielding, radaway, and that. Now, this is not a problem. We're just going to have to do a little bit more work to get there, and I pushed the wrong button. I apologize. Issue here is the medium radiation shielding. We don't have enough boron dust. So the boron dust is going to be another byproduct of things that come out of these algae farms, I believe, if I recall correctly. We're going to have to go ahead and build a second floor probably in this area and run the boron dust problem, because this is not what we need. We need a whole lot more than that. So what I wanted to do today, again, is we're going to build a little bit of, well, we're going to talk about a little bit of the logistical systems before we get into the next step. I know I'm kind of ranting and raving once again all over the place, and I will apologize if this gets a little ornery, but I've been studying, I've been looking, I've been playing, been trying to figure out what I want to do to try to improve the framing that is this mess. It's pretty well solid at about 36 milliseconds right now. Pretty solid. So it's not terrible. It's just that a lot of the problem, and again, a lot of the problem is not mainly this. It's not mainly this stuff. When like if I turned on the system and let it kind of go refill everything up right now, yes, it gets busy. And a lot of that stuff, a lot of the glitchy is just FPS lag. It's not machine lag. These things, however, as always, modular machines seem to just use way too much stuff. So the base is literally pretty much off right now, aside from a couple of miners. I'm going to stand and look this direction. We're going to do a really quick profile, and I'll be back. Okay, so starting with the fun stuff. I've done a little bit of adjustment into the settings for the lag goggles, and the lag goggles in here has the ability to change a few things out. The base model, or the baseline for the when it goes from green to red, is standard at 25. I'm going to set it to 100 so we can get rid of some of the garbage, or at least the garbage that exists. So if I analyze the results, we're going to see everything that's in here right now. And this is just basically letting you know what's ugly. And if you look at it, almost everything except for one zombie over here and a couple of Tesla towers is all tile machine controller, and a few, item hoppers. There's still a couple of hoppers that we can get rid of if we go ahead and do some other things with those lines. But all of these machines, everything on this one side, you go, well, it's only 500. Yeah, well, it's 500 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, however on down. And then you look at the total amount of time that is being utilized by all of the Hellfire PvE, EPV, modular machinery, common tiles, machine things. All of it is 20,000 microseconds. Logistics pipes on its own, sitting there not doing anything at all, is using 2,000. So this is nothing. It's not anything to do, again, with logistics pipes. It's not the pipes causing us the problem. It's the fact that we have so many modular machines, and we've known about this forever, but it's the modular machines that will generally cause some of the problem. Now, if we go over here and we look, the reason why that interface right there is so mad at me is because there is a hopper right there. Item hoppers are terrible. We can definitely get rid of that little bitty thing right there by using translocators or something along those lines. Problem with translocators, again, though, is if you force them to do a lot of work, they will really smoke your system. They can really hurt things quite badly. But just like this machine right here, it's not doing anything. It's just sitting here, not doing a single thing. Well, the fix then is do this. If you're not using it, shut it off. And then when we reprofile this again, this will go away. The thing is, I can't really do that with that building. I can't really do that back there. I can't shut off any of that stuff in there. I mean, I've got a couple of them shut off because there's some things that we don't really need to be making right now. But it's kind of annoying in of that we can't. I need to fill that hole before I fall in it. Yes, I know it's terrible. It's wrong color. Don't care. But it's like some of this other stuff. I can get rid of some of this. I can get rid of some of the little red points. But every single one of those controllers in this building has to stay on. So all of this is going to continue to stay red up there and nasty. Now, if I set this back down to 25, that map up there, for those of you that don't know, that is your heat map. That is how much time is being used in every single one of the chunks that's available to you. If I set that back down to 25, that entire green thing is all red. And that's a complete total lie for the most part. When you have 1,025, 25 microsecond connection thingies like that, 1,000 of them, it's not nearly as bad as you think it is until you start looking at however many are 100s. So I was kind of thinking maybe what we needed to do is start working on some of the, the logistics pipes and try to make things work. But if you look at this line, if you look at every single one of them right now, nothing is bad. I mean, I've walked through the entire system. Logistically speaking, all of the red dots, all of the red spots are either those things, which I totally expect those Tesla towers to be nasty, or all of the modular machine controllers, which I know happens. Where is this? Even these, they're 23, 24. That's not terrible. It's not bad, but it's just I wish that somebody would sit down and try to figure out, and it's not Golrith's fault. It's not anybody's fault on that end of it, because for somewhat odd reason, because none of these are running right now, these furnaces, none of these are running right now. If they were on, there'd be a few of them that were going to be saying somewhat similar things. They're pretty ugly too. We've messed with them in the past as far as making things work. But even, like I said, even these machines are not that bad. They're not all that bad. This one random one is sitting over here that's supposed to be making the silicons, just sitting here idle, not doing anything, using that much. And I don't know. I just wish that would get sorted or figured out or fixed or whatever. So anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to look at doing a little bit of more resource gathering for this, and then I'm going to make a hard decision about what we're going to do right here in this line. Actually, I think we can probably go research that right now just so we have them equal and even. Let's go grab a little bit of red stuff, this stuff here. Oh, and you can hide. Thank you, so that everything goes away. That mod is incredibly useful, and it is not in the pack. So if you guys need it, just download and install lag goggles. It's a fantastic way of finding things and sorting things out. It will do entity world. So like if you have a problem with your FPS problems, like say if you have something that's absolutely murdering your FPS, like you've got a pile of something laying around in the world and you can't figure out where it is, you can use that button and it will then scan everything. So it's like I did a scan earlier and found out that those the lava monsters down there are pretty nasty as far as frames. But they're pretty nasty as far as frames as well, because they spawn a lot of fire. But anyhow, let us do a little bit of this. Let's go unlock you, submit. So that gets us a few of the parts pieces for unified storage or simple storage network. Simple storage is actually would have probably been what my choice would have been to kind of replace some of this stuff if we would have gotten everything that we needed to get with simple storage. Let's do this. Simple storage. In simple storage, you get the storage control master, which is basically the controller. Then you get a request table, which is also a crafting table. You get the cable, and then we get storage connectors. What we don't get are the connectors that allow us to input and extract things from machines, which would have been the first basic replacement for this stuff right here would have been the first replacement. Instead, all we get is a thing that allows us to connect to the connector or a storage, and then we'd be able to pull things from storage into a controller, which is this guy right here, and then you would be able to craft in it. We're not even going to touch it. It's just going to sit there like that because it's a prerequisite to unlock it. Personally, probably could just remove it from the pack if we're not going to get the functionality that is the rest of it, but that's okay. Next step then is these three things right here. Refined storage is going to require us to build a lot of parts to make it work. Laser transportation from Actual Editions is going to require us to build a lot of parts to make it work. Singularity infinite storage kind of thing from the Ender Rift is kind of an interesting thing. It's basically like a big gigantic, well, it's a 3x3 cube that is capable of being interconnected. So you can build them and then they act like Ender chests, which is really cool. The neat thing about them is that they're probably going to be one of the ways that we could make this system perform better by removing the center section of this network. It would literally be removing whatever I think is like 500 or 600 connections in this thing, because essentially what that would do is you'd remove all of this, and everywhere we have these walls of storages, you just plunk one single Ender Rift connector, Ender storage right here and right here and right here and right here and over here and over there and et cetera, and all the way down the line, which would remove this. It would also remove all of these storages, every single one of them, and then what we would need to do is we would use the logistics, the chassis pipe, I believe. Where's it at? That one. That logistics chassis pipe will allow me to insert 8 modules into a specific connection. What's interesting about that specific connection is module. These modules in here, the item sync modules, passive extractor. What's kind of really fun about that is that means instead of, well, you're kind of limited to 6 surfaces with the Ender Rift connector or the Ender Rift storage, which means every 6 surface could have 8 different types of modules attached to it, which means for the most part, and I think for the most part, I think the biggest, scariest one is this one right here, where we have, well, that, and that all connected into one thing. The fun part would be is, again, at that point is then I'd have to go back and reconfirm all of the parts pieces that I want to do, either with I forget what it is. It's a extractor. It's one of these other modules. I was playing with it in the playing it in my test world, and it may be something we might play around with eventually. But theoretically, we could kind of simulate these storages with so many things in it without pumping the thing continuously full. My scary, interesting part about the thing about using that Ender Rift storage is that you have to make sure that the interface back here, the thing that is going to be pulling stuff out of these machines, has a limit on it, or else the entire system will never shut off. So I would literally adhere into these interfaces here where we have these current supplier pipes, whatever it is, how I've only got one in here and I've got this set to infinite. I would have to set it to like bulk 100 and then set the actual number of what I want to keep in that interface. But even as of right here with this, if I just used, say, one of these on one side, so you've got 6 sides to a machine, but then you're going to have to be able to extract out of them. Even if we just wanted to use supplier logistics pipes, you'd have something like 48 different items, or 40 some odd items that you'd be able to pull out of one side and plug it in, and then be able to kind of manage it that way. I need to put that back where it was because I don't want to fool with it right now. Again, it's one of those deals. What do you play with? Do you play with better get rid of this, or do you play with the next option, which is going to be laser transportation from actually additions, which we could use to replace all of it, every single bit of it, turn it into one single network and let it all access itself however it needs to access itself, and get rid of, even for that matter, this stuff, which is kind of, I don't know, not exactly what I want to do. Their simple little drop storages would end up existing right here. We'd have to use translocators or hoppers or whatever to pull them out of the machine, drop it into a storage, and then have the logistics system from actually additions, or the item lasers, then attached to those using item interfaces and going from there. Well, the fun part, once again, is every single one of these is a diamond. Every single one of those is a diamond. It's also one of those, which is a whole bunch of stuff. But every single one of these is a diamond, some redstone, and some iridium. We don't have a lot of iridium. And I can turn the iridium maker back on up there, but it's going to take a really, really, really long time to do any of that kind of work. So again, it's kind of, this is still looking pretty good to me, aside from the other deal. I mean, the Ender Rift, we didn't look at it, excuse me. Ender Storage, Ender Rift is not terrible. This is actually totally, completely functional for me. I mean, I'm totally okay with this. Even with the carbon fiber, that's not impossible. We can make plenty of carbon fiber doing that little method. It's sulfuric acid. That would actually help me get rid of a problem that we're having down at the end of the lake anyway, end of the base, because we're running with way, way, way too much sulfur. And then, of course, the Ender Rift Pearl, which would require us to make either Ender Pearls or End Essence Crystals. They're not hard to make. It would just require me to start farming chorus fruit again, which I think we probably have, like, I don't know, at least one of these chests kind of full of it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I made a bunch of it. I might have thrown it away. I've got a little bit, but we can definitely go back to farming that. It's not really that hard. But again, it's going back to this, everything's starting to get really expensive, light duty. We're not getting a whole heck of a lot of those diamonds, so I figure the next step, and I know after a long ramble, what we need to do is get better, more efficient miners, or that one right there. And the reason why I want that efficient miner is that this one is going to allow us to produce as much as we can from any one of the current mining profiles that we currently have, to include, if I go all the way up to number 4, a full box of stuff. So if I say coal ore, come on, the coal ore miner profile here, this one will allow us to get a reasonable amount of diamonds right here. And I've already kind of burnt some of these, but that's kind of what we're after at this point because we really don't have any access to anything else. And again, I'm going to have to turn on the iridium to start playing around and getting some more iridium, because either way, iridium, where is it? This one is going to be used in, I think it's that, right? In some of this kind of stuff. Now, as far as refined storage and the storage patterns, the stack upgrades and the speed upgrades, I really, honestly, do not see a need for those, given that we have so much stuff going on. So we can probably leave those alone for a long, long, long time, or we may never get to it. I don't know. It's just the kind of the way the pack has been going, the way I've been kind of just fixing things and fiddling with things, that I kind of want to try to figure out a way to get rid of as many of these connections as possible. Now, I know one thing we could do in here is that I could segregate out this building from the main system. But then that would mean I would have to build a specific stack of all this kinds of junk right here to then be brought right close to this. And I just never felt like doing it. I didn't feel like doing that because of all the little machines in here. So like every single one of these things, there's at least 1 ingredient or 2 ingredients or 3 ingredients or 5 ingredients that you have to bring in order to make the stuff work. So with all that being said, unfortunately, you guys, I ended up, like I said, unlocking the white science, or at least white science and a few other parts. And then I put a few things in one of these science labs here so that we could get the white science started to work. So then I grabbed a whole bunch of our white science, I left it sit, and for the moment, all I want is a stack of white research. So Farley, white research, wonderful stuff. I want to go over here to the space line, and I want to unlock this, and I want to unlock that. Awesome. So that gives us the top tier mining drone, which is going to allow us to do a few things. Space theory, we're going to need a bunch of this. That is 900 production yellow research. I'm going to hold off on space theory until we get a pack update that is going to allow us to do any of this. I already know it's coming, and I'm just going to wait on this. We're probably just going to start working through slowly some of the other little parts and pieces that we have not done. I mean, I've not even bothered to do any of these because they're not even really anything that I need. And again, this energy stuff is a kind of kind of to me. I may need to do a few of these, but for right now, I think we're going to stop fooling around with this area because of the way the base is built. It's functional. It's doing what it needs to do. So with that being said, in this mess, we had a whole bunch of other things that we unlocked. I apologize again. Slow RadAway, normal RadAway, the nuclear research, the yellow research we did a long time ago. I had to pull that out so that I could make it work. Simple networks. Okay, and that can go in here for now. We're going to work with looking at these asteroid miner tier 4s. So miner tier 4 is going to be a fun thing because it requires me to do large ore drills. Everything else in this mess we have automated. With that, I am going to, we need to go set this up. And I think for the most part, I have these mediums already built, correct? I'm going to have to go find the drill. Okay, so I have that one. All right, we need to go upstairs. We need to go hook up a couple more of those things so that we can automatically craft everything that we need to craft. And then we can go on building some better drones so I can start collecting more parts so we can start figuring out what we want to do with the rest of this. So let me go find a spot upstairs, and then we can start building some more fun stuff. Alrighty then, so there we have our nice large steel drill built and ready to go. That required me to come clear up to the top and build 2 machines so that we could then make those drills. That's very nice. So the last machine is going to be making these. We're just going to completely skip that miner tier 3. Again, that probably between those 2 steps probably should be a little nastier as far as the pickup is concerned for the unlock. 30 research is not hard to get a hold of in a little bit of time, so I've had quite a bit. But anyhow, let us do this. Oh, no, that's not where I want to go. We're going to go ahead and hook up all of the little parts, pieces that it takes to make this thing. So hit that button so I can see what it is. We need the drills. We need advanced mining drills, which we should have all this stuff currently built. And since the system is off, I won't have to worry about fighting with any of this. So that's 6 different things that need to get put into the system. So boink, 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 And then we're going to do, these don't really matter. So drill, I need one of those. It's only capable, they only stack to one anyway. So again here, this is going to be one of those things. It takes 5 minutes to process the ore that we're going to need. I'm going to keep probably about a stack of these sitting around. Only thing I don't like is trying to figure out how to shut this system off or these machines off. I may end up doing that with this one, to where I just go ahead and use a little bit of redstone magic and run a probe connector off the bottom of one of these things. But for right now, I think we'll just let it build a couple of stuff. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. I need I think, click on it real quick. You need an advanced mining drill. I only want to keep one of those in this at all times. So advanced mining drill. Advanced mining drill. One, the number one here will mean it's only going to ever keep one in there, and I don't really care. Again, it won't take very long to matter. This one, 16, well, I should say, let's just do the 4 chests right there. Chest. Again, at that point, I don't really care, but there's no point in keeping a lot of chests in here. So click. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll only keep 4 in there at all times. So if I go like this, and I put this down, it will then go ahead, light those up, and let them go to work. Next step over here, I need to put in 16 electric engines. That's going to be a problem because I don't have any on me, I think. Let's see. Electric engine, where are you? If I grab this and then I go, if I grab this and I hold shift, does it work? Yeah. 16 of that. Whoa, no. Whoop, 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 whoop. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. We need 16 of those all the time. Good deal. Next step, go over to here. 32 low density structures. That is going to really hurt. I love that. I'm glad I made those. They're right next door to us right now. Low density structure. This and that. Hold the shift button. 32. 4, 6, 8, 16, 32. Nice. And then the last thing that we need is going to be 8 of those circuit number 4s. Which is you. 8 of those. Done. Put a box down. Boink, boink. Now, I'm being picky with this because I'm probably only ever going to want to build 1 or 2 of these at any given time. So what we'll do, or what we'll be able to do, is we'll be able to take a probe connector and connect it to the bottom of this right here, that interface, run a line through the front, and then run some redstone cabling, which I don't know. Do I have any of that on me right now? I don't remember. Let me look really quickly. I do have a probe connector, I do have some redstone wire, and I do have some connectors. So if we do something like this, I got my hammer on me, so we can definitely do like this. So I can do a white connector, and I need to make sure this is set to output, and then I do... This is where the pain kind of comes in, because we're going to have to go around a few things, which may mean I may have to do this a little differently. Let's get down here. Yeah. So if I do right here is the bottom of what I want to measure, I can place this redstone probe connector on it, and then I'm going to channel sending to orange. Sounds good to me. And then I'm just going to go ahead and break that out. And for right now, we'll put this right here with another connector right there. And if I do U to U, U to U, and then I click U to orange, if there's anything, and I mean anything, in this interface, so we now have an asteroid miner tier 4, if there's anything in that interface, it should be shutting the machine off upstairs. So if we run over here and we look, it is off because of a redstone signal. If I go grab those out of there, it should turn the machine on, and as soon as it makes another one, it should shut it off. Yeah, So as soon as we have something in that interface, that is how you can manage to maintain to where all you need to do is keep certain things populated up to the point where it needs to be populated. Again, we're going to be waiting on it to do this, and actually probably the smart thing would be to go ahead and double up the number of everything that we need in these interfaces, but I don't care. Again, we're only going to need to keep 3 of them running at any given time, and the chances of them losing anything over there, I still have a whole bunch of them down there that I hand-built through one of these other ones. I still think I have like 16 or 17 of those other tier 2s that we're going to go ahead and probably just, well, throw away at this point. But we now have automated miner tier 4 ready for our system to be, ready for our mining drone hubs, so that we can finally start utilizing all of the good stuff that comes with those. And what I'm going to do in between episodes is run as much stuff as I can stand, because, well, we're going to need a lot of parts. We're going to need a lot of stuff. We're going to need a lot of things, so that I can kind of do a little bit more decision making about what I want to do with this base when it comes to this line right here. I'm kind of leaning towards this, to be totally honest. Kind of leaning towards that, because that would allow me to leave, well, all of the satellite or all of the side networks on and in place, and remove all of that mess, which means all of those connectors, all that 500, and well, most of the connectors, actually, for that matter, all the way down that one line would all go all the way through the center, and then a good number of the connectors that are connecting to every single one of those interfaces and every single one of those inventories has 2 connectors on it, which we could get rid of, which means that logic would go away, and it would be served by, well, however many of those that we needed. So I think in the next episode we're going to play with some more logistics. I know we've been kind of all over the place. I know today was a little bit of a goofy one. Again, I'm kind of a little rusty. Haven't played Minecraft, haven't played games for most of a week and a half, kind of just went outside and played in the woods, so you kind of tend to forget what you're doing. Anyhow, we have our miners ready to go. I will be moving them into our drone hubs very soon, and as soon as we get those going, we're going to be able to utilize them to make sure that we're getting as much as we can out of that over there, which is perfectly fine with me. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.